What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna review this Alienware Aurora R8 Ultimate Gaming Desktop. But before that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe down below, and thank you for watching. Now in this video, I'm gonna give you my best personal opinion and go over the good and the bad when it comes to this Alienware Aurora R8 Gaming Desktop. This particular model here is now about a year old, as it originally came out back in summer of 2019. But because of its hardware, it could still be considered today as one of the more powerful configured desktops on the market, as it features the Intel i9-9900K along with the RTX 2080 Ti. Plus 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM running at 6600 megahertz and 1 terabyte SSD drive, and as you could see, it is liquid cooled, the CPU. Also, it has a 850 watt fully modular power supply, and it currently retails for $3,000 US. Well, the first thing you notice is how cramped in everything is and the messy wiring. This desktop definitely will not qualify for a nice window panel look to display all the fancy hardware that you have, and that's a bit disappointing, especially for a $3,000 price point. That's just the way Dell is, and they always like to keep their systems as proprietary as possible to prevent you from swapping out that motherboard into a gaming case. It is what it is. They like to keep it within the family and basically use them for any of the repairs. But overall, in my opinion, Dell is a good brand and I never had issues. I have certain computers that lasted for like 10-15 years, and besides like some RAM issue or something like that, there's really they're a really good brand and it lasts a long time. Now the other thing that I was disappointed here is the RTX 2080 Ti model here. This is a blower style and it's like the cheapest version money could buy, I believe. I wish they had the dual fan one. It kind of sucks, but it does have a back plate, so hopefully that'll help out with some temperatures, and we're gonna find out further down in this video how the temperature is when it comes to gaming. I'm gonna overclock the card. Also, the good news is you could overclock the CPU and the BIOS from what I'm understanding, so I'll give that a shot too. So overall, I think that this is a very good desktop for somebody who is not gonna build their own or take things apart. This is a very easy upgradable desktop when you want to just throw in a couple of extra drives. As you can see, we have on the bottom 2.5 inch base for some SSD extra storage. Also on the top right behind the power supply, there is a 3.5 inch base, so you could throw in a regular size hard drive, which will be really the cheapest alternative to additional storage. You could get something like 3 or 4 terabytes for around $100, and you already have a 1 terabyte SSD, and you're really good to go. And that's gonna last you a long time. You also have 2 extra open slots for RAM, so you can put in another 2 sticks there, and you know, this thing will last you a long time. It's really toolless. All you do is take off the side panel, swing the power supply to the right, opens up like that. You know, just maintain it the way it is, keep it clean, and I think this thing will last you for many years to come. So overall, I think this is a good computer, especially if you wait a little bit longer, and hopefully this thing will drop to like $2,500. Also, down below in the description, I'm gonna put some links into other Aurora R8 models that are a lot cheaper with really good specs, because the R8 has different setups for different price range, and right now you could get a really good deal. So take a look there, and maybe it'll help you out to save some money. I'll do my best to find the best deals out there for you guys. Really appreciate it. If you like this video, please hit the like button. It really helps out a lot. So yeah, so all there is left to do is test out some games, do some benchmarks, and we'll see how well this bad boy performs. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so before I get into some gaming results, let me show you how the CPUZ Benchmark looks. So as you can see, I have currently this processor overclocked to 4.7 gigs, running on all cores, and I'm gonna go ahead and bench it against a similar processor in its class to give you an idea of what kind of a performance we have here. So here you have the Ryzen 7 3700X, which is an 8-core 16-thread. It's very similar, and we're gonna go ahead and bench it and see what kind of results we get. Now, yes, I was able to overclock the system in the Alienware BIOS, but unfortunately it's not the best. So I am currently overclocked on level 2, which when you select that option, it shows you 5 gigs on all cores, but for some reason it never reaches that. It only goes to 4.7. Now if you go down to level 1, which shows you 4.7 gigs on all cores in the BIOS, and when you come back into any benchmarks on gaming, it only shows you 4.4. So that's a bit off. That's the kind of results I was able to get. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I need to update the BIOS, but that's what it looks like. So as you could see in this benchmark, clearly a similar processor in its class with a little overclocking. It does beat out the Ryzen 7 3700X, and me personally, I don't understand why everybody's comparing the 9900K when it comes to these kind of benchmarks, not gaming, to the higher class, the 3900, because it just doesn't make sense. The 3900 has more cores. Of course it's going to beat them out in the multi-thread performance, but in my opinion this is the right processors to compete, and as you could see, it does beat it out. And of course it is overclocked, and I'm sure if you overclock the Ryzen chip, they'll be a lot closer. So this is the CPUZ results. So let me jump into some other benchmarks. Alright, so here we have Cinebench R15. Let's take a look what kind of score we could expect. And of course, with a nice processor like this, it's gonna go quick. And that's it, we're done. So yeah, there you go. We have over 2,000 on the score, and I'm sure if you could mess around, you could get it up a little bit, like to 2,100. But as of now, this is just the first run. I got 2062 on the score, which is pretty impressive. So let me move on to the R20 benchmark. Now let's see what the Cinebench R20 looks like. Now, of course, if you're familiar with this benchmark, it's going to take a bit longer to process because it's a longer one, and of course the score will be a lot higher. Whoosh! Did you guys hear that fan? My goodness, that was sound a little bit scary there, but looks like the worst is over. This benchmark really kicks butt. And there you have it. This is the score we got, which is 4106. Just a comparison here to a similar core count here with the threads. This is a first gen Ryzen 7 1700X, You got 3455 here. Now, of course, like I said, this will be perfectly compared to the Ryzen 7 3700X, and so that kind of give you an idea what that looks like. But 4106 points is not bad at all. So finally, I am moving on, and now let's see how well this system runs some of the newer modern games. So stay tuned for that. The first game I'm going to start out with is Control. And I'm sure you're aware by now that this is a pretty hard game to run on PC. You do need a pretty beefy setup, and in this case, that's what I have. So let me show you the settings. I'm going to just test out games on 1080p for this video. As you could see, I am on full screen, 1080p, both on resolution and rendering resolution, and pretty much on the high settings here all the way through. I am not even going to go into ray tracing options. That's something further down the line I might decide to, but yeah, so pretty much we're like on the highest settings on 1080p, more or less. And look at these crazy frame rates. Yep, that's what you expect if you got everything running pretty good. And so a few things. As I mentioned before, I was only able to get this thing up to 4.7 gigs in the OC mode in the BIOS. And the other thing is, with this graphics card, since a blower style, you are going to have to increase the fan speed using, like, let's say MSI Afterburner in this case. So you might hear the noise in the background. I want to really give you the full experience how it's going to be. It's really not that loud, but I seem to have pretty good temperatures, as you could see, at running only at 55% on the fan, and that keeps the system pretty cool and very efficient. So I'd say about 50 to 55% fan speed using like the MSI Afterburner will really give you you know, the good temperatures. And yeah, everything is working pretty good, as you could see. Put this thing a little louder. Yep. Very smooth. You could just really go all out on this sucker and just run it all the way through.
Federal Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them, and they were hiding in plain sight. Hello? Hey, excuse me.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview.
Now, of course, theoretically speaking, if you had the 9900K on a nice motherboard that you could really overclock it to a good, you know, clock speed like 5.1, 5.2, and same thing with this graphics card. If it was like a better version, for instance, you should be able to get more FPS, and that's something I would like to explore further down the line, and perhaps you know, put this processor onto a better motherboard. Another thing, if you guys are still watching this video, I wanted to mention is whenever you buy these you know, OEM desktops, definitely recommend you to go ahead and download the Windows media tool, creation tool, either on whatever you have, either on a USB or a DVD, and just go ahead and reinstall Windows fresh. There's so much junk that originally comes with it, really gonna slow down your performance. And I've seen it all the time. People spend $2,000, $1,500, $1,000 on an OEM, you know, desktop from factory, and the specs, you know, should do what it's supposed to, but in a lot of cases, a lot of people get disappointed for the money they spend because it just doesn't perform the way it should. And that's one of the reasons. There's a lot of junk running in the background, and it really is, you know, a bit of a skill to go ahead and just optimize your computer, any computer, to get the most possible FPS out of the games. I actually have a video on that in my channel there somewhere, how to optimize laptops and desktops for gaming. So if you search that, you should be able to find that.
You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really? Look at this place.
Beautiful. Alright, so that's it for the first game, so on to the next one. And here's the next game, Battlefield 5. Always a good game to test on your new system on, because it really pushes your processor and the graphics card to the limit. This is one of those games that most of the time it would definitely run a lot hotter than other games. And as you could see, the CPU is running pretty hot in this game, and even the temperature of the graphics card is a little bit higher than the previous game I tested. This seems to be a lot of the times the case when it comes to this game for some reason. And again, I used the option in the BIOS for level 2 overclocking. So with the VSync off and with these crazy FPS on the 1080p Ultra, that's the kind of, you know, settings that I have here, Ultra, and that's the FPS here that you could expect. The system is running pretty hot. Now usually if you would increase the resolution to like 4K, for instance, it should drop down the temperature. So let's for this just game here, let's give it a shot at 4K and see if that will drop the temperature. Okay, 4K, here it is. Oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it dropped down. We're like more in the 70s now. So now we're at 4K on ultra settings, running around 80 FPS, and I'll just leave this game on 4K for the remainder of this game test to keep those temperatures a little bit lower. And again, as you could see, the temperatures did go down. Everything is running pretty smooth, but don't forget the cooler that it comes with, the liquid cooler, is kind of small. It's just a 120 millimeter radiator. Definitely wouldn't do justice to this kind of a processor. So as you could see, you do have to tinker with this thing a little bit with this computer in order, you know, to get some good temperatures. So let's go on to the next game. Here we have Shadow of Tomb Raider. Now there's definitely no FPS shortage here at all. Let's take a look at the settings. And here we are on ultra settings. 1080p full screen. Now, you may have noticed that so far every game I'm testing, even though it has the DirectX 12 capability, I am running them on DirectX 11, and yes, that's true. Because when it comes to the best possible performance, I still believe that DirectX 11 will be the best, even for a new card like the RTX 2080 Ti. Now, if you want to use the ray tracing option, yes, you would have to use DirectX 12. But if you're not gonna go with ray tracing, I do encourage you to use DirectX 11. Much better performance, less issues on every title that I've tested so far, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Doctor, son muchos de sus hombres.
Can never be too simple. You're very gracious. We should go.
Yeah, this is Commander Rourke. Dominguez wants confirmation Croft is here. You have the photo. Female, Caucasian, early 20s. You got that?
Hey, get out of my office.
Sorry.
Close the door when you leave.
Right.
Don't worry. Go.
The readings at the site are unlike anything we've ever seen.
It's the key to our next phase.
If this is it, we'll be ready.
Jonah, they've entered the dig site. It's fenced off and there's a guard at the gate. We'll find another way in.
I found a good spot. I'll watch the perimeter. It's your own fault. Did you get it over with already? They want us back.
Not anymore. Mr. Lee, archaeologist. Your employment is terminated. Please, no. I have money. I have
No, I know you. You work for Trinity. What did they find?
Well, they've been searching for a temple entrance for many years. Today they found it. I have to go warn my sister. She's on her way here now.
Jonah, Trinity just tried to kill a local archaeologist.
Well, that's it for this game. On to the last one. So here is the last game I'm going to test out in this video. It is Resident Evil 3 Remake. Fantastic game, and the performance on this is incredible. So let me go over the settings first. And we are again DirectX 11. You're gonna get more FPS if you're gonna go that route. Absolutely. In case you're wondering, 1080p full screen, and I have chosen the max preset. Everything maxed out. Actually, I'm gonna just take off the motion blur. That's unnecessary. And that's about it. So here we have it. So again, the conclusion is overall this is a very good computer. Just have to do a couple of tweaks. Definitely recommend increasing the fan speed on the blower style RTX 2080 Ti here to keep those temperatures low. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button too, that helps out. And I'll see you in another video. So enjoy the rest of this video, and thank you. See you next time.
So what's the plan?
The old tags got me clear on the tracks. You might get the subway infrastructure back online.
We're survivors. Gotta get that train moving.